Right. So I like this. I also like that you pull out you shared your references. This is really cool. The only thing I'll say is that, in terms of, okay, you have some work to do in terms of understanding anatomy and how to draw things in, to have that solidity, to be able to draw figures with solidity, so, or tridimensionality. So, for example, if you look at this one, her eye is meant to be, okay, I think this is the reference you use there. So in the reference, the eye is straight and it's tilted at an angle. If this is the horizontal, then if it's the horizontal line, you can see that this thing is tilted at an angle. So if you're going to use this as reference and you want to draw, but I see that you did something different because now yours is tilted in the other way. Hers is tilted this way, but yours is tilted this way, like this way. So it's up to you. Like, there's nothing wrong with you pushing things around based on what you feel. But if you're going to push that thing, like if you're going to push it, then you have to pay attention to the solid structure of that thing. So this is what I mean. Now that you've tilted her head this way, it means that her head is somewhat slanting at an or tilting at an angle. So you have to pay attention to that angle, that angular tilt. It means the nose and the eyes is tilting. Actually, let's not make it tilt too much because, yeah, I think something like this is okay. So if this is the eyes and the other eye is buried inside of the face like that, as you can see, you have to draw it inside, like the eyes inside the eyeball, the eye sockets. So you have to draw it like that. Then the lips to also respect that curvature of the face. So what's she doing here? She's smiling. Okay. Now that smile, I'd have thought you'd push the smile a little bit because yours is not really obvious that she's smiling. So maybe make it bigger. Hi guys. So in the fall of 2025, I got to host an 8-week masterclass titled Ethnic Character Design for Animation, which had a decent number of signups. I got to share a ton of rich information, secrets, industry insights that I used to craft an award-winning character like Noni, Eyes of Wakanda. The sessions were archived and compiled into a digestible course. The course will be available for purchase on Gumroad from 26th of February 2026. If you are an intermediate level artist seeking to diversify your portfolio to include culturally grounded characters in animation, then this is for you. Thank you for listening and see you on February 26th. And this is the eyes. Looking at the camera, eyelashes there. You can even play with some of these things, like maybe even make her one eyebrow go up a little bit more, just to give her that a bit of sassiness. So maybe one eyebrow is tilted upwards. So this is how I would advise you when you're drawing the face, pay attention to the solid structure of the face. Yeah, and the same thing applies for everything else. Then also I'm sensing, because it looks like they use this one as a reference, which is fine, it's great. Again, look at that thing I was talking about, the eyes. Like, it's not they don't seem to be on the same line, like. And then pay attention to the eyelash too, because it looks like she's like, Egyptians, they tend to have like this their eyelash is painted long like this. So I think that should have been like an an added touch to her eyes. Like this. Also the mouth. So I don't know what she's doing in this expression. Let me look at the references. So I'm guessing it's this one. She's okay, like she's perplexed, like, you know, maybe like she's puzzled, you know, that type of thing. So maybe you have to communicate it. Then the lips. Pay attention to when drawing lips. Lips can be quite tricky, especially African lips. But the thing about the trick with lips is, especially when you're drawing them in three-quarter front view, the lower lip is, you know, independent of the upper lip. Something like this. So, and it has its own thickness. That's the thickness of the lower lip. Then this is the upper lip. Something like that. Of course, there are way more like complex lips. You know, you can have lips with stuff like this, but the principle is still the same. Then there are some lips that have, you know, they go inside. Let me draw this thing big so you see what I'm. So some lips are like this. So the thing is, you have to pay attention to where they meet and the thickness of that lip. Yeah, so this is another type of lip, but the principle is the same. So as it's curving and you see the curvature, you can see the curvature. It's curving around the face. It's not flat. It's curving around the face. That's how to draw lips. All right, so that's that for your work. I mean, you have to go back and look at everything, but you know, because of time, I'm not able to draw on everybody's work. So this is the much I can do. Another thing I'll say is, okay, yeah, for example, this one, this is, yeah, I need to talk about this. So this reference here, I believe this is the one, this drawing is with this reference. Now look at how expressive that face is. Like, look at how big her, because yeah, I think that's the reference. Okay, no, I think it's this one. Sorry, it's this one. I think this one goes with this one. So look at how expressive that face is. Like, look at how big her cheek is. We have to play with this and look at the shape. It's almost like a W. See that W shape? Very, very important. So you need to play with that W shape and make it, maybe probably exaggerate it a little bit more. So let's see if we can do that. We need to zoom out a little bit so we can see the reference. All right, so what you should do is, her lips are really puffed out, so we need to play with this shape. Yes, she has high cheekbones, but then the lips are tightly squeezed together, so it's going to be like small. And then she's squeezing her face, so we need to, because this is almost like a squash. So this stretch and squash in animation is a principle. So what we have now is more like a squash. So we need to really, really like push, almost like squash ahead. And then you know that when you squash something, it doesn't change volume. So if you think about a balloon, if this is a balloon, if I squash this balloon, if I press it on both ends, it's going to stretch this way, but it still has the same volume. So the volume is the same thing. So that's the idea we're going to use here. We're squashing her face, but I think someone asked this question in the last class. I think it was Brent. So you're squashing that face. And remember the W shape, very important. Sometimes you don't need to draw the entire W shape, but you need to feel it like it's there. So we're going to squash this face, means that the eyes will come down more. Okay, her eyes are opened in the reference. Another thing too is when people are, because of how puffy her cheeks are, we're going to get the feeling that there's an applied false that is almost closing her eyes, just to sell that squashiness more. So then we have an eyelash like that. Then the nose, trying to get her nose. Okay, so she has a rounded nose. And then that's her eyebrow. So this is how you think about stretch and squash. But then, if you really want to sell this pose, maybe we'll close our eyes instead. So something like that. And then we have all this hair. This type of squashiness usually moves the shoulder. Yeah, and then you have all these other things on the head. You can even move these lips much closer to her nose and make it smaller to sell that squashiness more. Yeah, something like that. I hope you understand what I've done here. If you need the files, let me know and I'll send it to you. Thank you very much.